wall to keep us safe and protect American jobs for American workers. But Democrats, and even some Republicans, obstruct funding for President Trump's wall. I make you this promise. Elect Mo Brooks to the U.S. Senate, and I will fight to fund the border wall. Right now, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats use the filibuster rule to kill our conservative America First agenda. Well, two can play that game. We must fight fire with fire. If I have to go to the Senate floor and filibuster to fund the border wall, I will do exactly that. America will build a border wall to keep us safe and to protect American jobs for American workers, or you will know the name of every senator who stands in our way and betrays the American people. I'm Congressman Mo Brooks. If you support a border wall, then vote Mo Brooks for Senate. I'm Mo Brooks, and I approve this message.
From the Mercedes-Benz of Mobile Studios, this is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to News Radio 710 WNTM. I want to mention you can watch this hour on Facebook. Go to the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page and you can watch. And we actually have people in here to look at. Our guests are here from Smart Home America. I want to welcome back to News Radio 710 WNTM Julie Shaya Woodard of Smart Home America. Graham Green, welcome back, both of you.
Thank you, sir.
And you brought Ken McElhaney of State Farm. Ken, good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Henry.
It's great to have you all in here. Smart Home America, more and more people are learning about Smart Home America as each day goes by. And we're going to spend some time this hour talking about what you do at Smart Home America. Julie, can we start off by letting people know what Smart Home America is?
Smart Home America is a not-for-profit that works to create stronger communities through collaboration and education and the promotion of resilient products and policies and building methods.
Okay, a nonprofit, and you use the word resilient. So talk about where this concept comes from.
Resilient it has been a buzzword for quite a while, but it basically means that something can be knocked pretty hard and withstand that knock and then keep moving forward afterwards. And so it's used in a bunch of different fields, but when it comes to the building industry, it means that a structure can withstand pretty significant high wind and rain event and survive in a much better place and not take as much damage, so that you as a person that owns that structure can recover quicker.
How did Smart Home America come to be?
We came to be because a group of thought leaders, probably 7, 8 years now, probably going on 8 or 9 years, were quite a few of the local insurance people were concerned about the way that we were building after events, and they were talking about this right before Hurricane Ivan hit. So Hurricane Ivan hit, everybody, that was affected starts rebuilding back. And then 11 months later, we have Hurricane Katrina, and they start building back the same exact way, which didn't work the first time and didn't work the second time. And they were saying, why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep the loop of insanity, repeating the same action, no change in effect? And so they did a national search and tried to find the best practice at that time. And they landed on Fortified. And they said, okay, it's backed by science. It seems to work. Let's start promoting it. And they started promoting it. And then in 2009, they incorporated. So they became a nonprofit, and they've been rocking along since then, educating and spreading the word on a better way to build.
Now, was this something that was easy to put together as far as figuring out how to go about building resiliently, or was there a big learning process? Did Smart Home America have to figure out how to be a smart home?
I would say that learning about Fortified and the way that it works was not hard, because the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety created that science, and they are a ginormous, I call them big brains. They're all PhDs and meteorologists and researchers, and they actually build full-size structures inside ginormous lab in South Carolina, and they put up to Hurricane Cat 3 wind and rain on these structures, and they learn how that structure performs in that. And after 20 years of lab and field testing, they have the data that shows that the method works, and they have technical guidance to tell you how to do it. And so if you can read a technical bulletin, you can do it. So the fortified method itself wasn't hard. I think the challenge for Smart Home to become Smart Home was figuring out what dots had to be connected for a community to actually start moving to being resilient, which took a little bit more than just building it. You have to wrap in policy and decisions and better ways of constructing and educating the people who construct and remodel, and also making sure that once you've got that structure to a better place, that that homeowner has insurance to cover that property. So there's a bunch of different pieces that go, and I think that it took a little bit of time to get the rhythm, but we got it.
Now, you're listening to Smart Home America. The website is smarthomeamerica.org. Lots of resources at the website. So as you listen, if you have questions, you can go to their website anytime, smarthomeamerica.org. Who is Smart Home America? What entities are involved?
So most of our funding comes from the insurance industry. The insurance industry, that's our neighbors. They are in church with us. Our kids go to school with them, and their job is to sell us an insurance policy that will make us whole after a disaster or a loss. And again, there's that cycle of insanity. So they pay to re-roof your house when your roof takes damage. And just like the sister organization, which is the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, which is a crash test dummies, over the time they said, okay, look, we really need to build a better car. And so now we have these better cars. So their sister agency said, why can't we get a house that can withstand high wind events just a little bit better? We are all about insuring a property. We want it to recover quicker. So what do we need to do to build it better? And so that is our biggest partner, because they have all this great science that comes out of IBHS. And we take that science and bring it to you at that local level.
You also have involvement, though, from governmental entities?
We do. We have lots of policy leaders that want to make change, and they want to understand better how to do that. And so they look to us for that education on how to speak intelligently to what they want to see happen.
And also, I'm going to guess people in the building industry also are involved.
Yes. So we are, the people that we reach out to is, the easiest way to describe it is everybody that touches a house or small business. So that's everybody that either builds it, repairs it, remodels it, insures it, sells it, appraises it. So it's we call them stakeholders. So those are all the stakeholders, right? So insurance, builders, realtors, government entities, policyholders, code officials, and academics. So we partner very heavily with the University of Alabama, and they help us gather the information that proves our point, that what we're doing is making a difference. And so all of those entities they voice what they see, and we make that happen. So we have committees that work on different issues.
So is most of what you do is educating people, right? That's it. That's number one.
Yes. Number one is educating. I would say number two is probably connecting the dots for people. So putting people together that need to be together to make better decisions. And then probably the third thing we do is the policy work. So policy is being written every day. And the people who write policy, a lot of them are part-time elected officials, and so they have day jobs, and they have to rely on someone to give them the correct information, and so we try and do that.
Where do you think we are now in Alabama? Well, before we go to that, how big is your scope? Are you just Alabama or coastal Alabama? What size area do you cover?
We are, our headquarters or our office is here and I'll give a shout out to the Container Yard, because we work in a shared workspace, which was new for us, but it's awesome. And so we work here, we all live here, and we are in very heavily here, obviously, because this is our footprint, but we are in 8 states with Alabama. So, and the reason we're there is because Alabama leads the nation in this way of building. So we hold the most fortified designations, which means that there are 4,500 about so homes that have been certified to be either built or re-roofed to the fortified levels. And so we totally lead the nation in the way that we are constructing and building to be stronger for the next hurricane.
So Alabama leads the nation in something good.
Yes, something
other
besides
than football.
Yes, that's our
That's
line.
fantastic.
That's our line. We lead the nation in something besides football.
All right, look, we need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out more about Fortified. We'll see if Ken McElhaney wants to jump in on any of this. Again, our guests are here talking about Smart Home America. You can find out more information at smarthomeamerica.org. That's smarthomeamerica.org. Back in just a moment on News Radio 710 WNTM and on our Facebook page.
If you know the value of good machines, then it's high time we got together. We're Bailey Industrial, builders of metal and woodworking equipment, hard-working machines for hard-working people. We stand behind our equipment and make sure our equipment stands behind you, offering you the after-sale support you need to keep your shop running smoothly, which means making sure you have what you need when you need it, typically shipping within 72 hours or less. So whether you're a fabricator or manufacturer of metal or wood products, go to Bailey.com or call 920-MACHINE and we'll send you a catalog. That's right, friend, over 400 pages of what you love most, machines. So whatever you're looking to build or manufacture, do it with Bailey Industrial, the company you can trust to give you the equipment and service you can rely on. That's B-A-I-L-E-I-G-H, Bailey, because if it's worth doing right, it's only right to do it with Bailey. So call 920-MACHINE or go to Bailey.com now and pick up your free catalog.
This is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about Dr. Thomas Bender and Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. We love living on the Gulf Coast. We love all the fun activities, the fishing, the golf. But years of being out in the elements, well, that can accelerate damage to your skin. That can accelerate the aging process of your skin. Dr. Bender can help you with that. Dr. Bender is a board-certified dermatologist. He provides the latest innovations in medical skincare and cosmetic skincare, and he also has all the latest technology. He's got 3 convenient locations, Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. You can find out more about Dr. Bender and all of the services he provides by going online. The website is advanceddermclinic.com. That's advanceddermclinic.com. You can make an appointment there online, or you can call for your appointment. The number is 251-631-3570. That's Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale, new and pre-owned. RVsunlimited.com. Back on News Radio 710 WNTM and on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page with Smart Home America. Julie Shaya-Woodard is here. Ken McElhaney of State Farm. Graham Greene here offering support. So Alabama, if you just joined in, Alabama leads the nation in what you called resilient homes, fortified homes. So now let's get into the explanation of what does it mean when you use the word fortified. What does that mean?
So fortified is a nationally recognized building method based on 20 years of scientific in-lab and field studies that shows that a house performs better as a system. So, the science shows that a house performs as a system, but when we build a house, we build the walls and we build the roof, and we don't really think of it as an entire system. And so over the years, as they did high wind and rain research, they learned how each different component of a house, when not really working in that system, would fail in a high wind and water, and the water would get in. So the biggest thing about fortified is that it keeps the water out. So in a high wind event, if you have a fortified roof, which is sealed, it's a sealed roof deck, you're going to lose shingles maybe, probably the tar paper if you're going to lose the shingles. If it's a significant hurricane, you're going to have damage, but you're not going to get the water inside your house that's going to destroy everything in the house. So yes, you'll take damage, but you'll be able to recover quicker because, let's say you have to evacuate. You evacuate, you come back, you'll be able to actually stay in that house. And I always remind everybody, it'll be hot as Hades, but you'll be able to stay and you'll be able to start recovering the very next day that you come back from evacuation, because you haven't had the intrusion of all the water that gets in when you lose the shingles and tar paper on an unsealed roof deck. And so that's the significance.
No mold. Grandma's photo albums are okay, you know.
Well, it sounds terrific, but there are some people that are going to think that sounds great, but can I afford that?
Totally.
It's got to cost so much more. How can I afford a fortified roof?
It does not cost very much more. And now that it is so, I would say, I mean, I think it's safe to say it's almost common now for people who are re-roofing. And that's the important part. So fortified works really, really well and very affordably if you do it at a time when you are going to make improvements to your house. So everybody in a 30-year mortgage, for the most part, is going to have to re-roof at some point.
Right.
You're already going to take on the cost of that roof. And so when you're taking on the cost of re-roofing, if you go fortified, you're only looking at maybe a 1% to 2% increase in cost. That's it. So once you do that, though, one, you're going to reap the benefits of knowing that you're not going to get that water intrusion. And two, because you live in coastal Alabama, you're going to get, if you get the house designated, that's important because that's a voluntary thing, you will get an insurance discount. Depending on who your insurance carrier is, if you get that magical certificate that says your house is fortified, then you can reap the benefits of that by getting that money back in an insurance savings.
All right, we have an insurance agent here, Ken McElhaney. We get a discount. If I come into you and I say I've got a fortified roof, are you glad to see me?
I love it. I love it. In fact, if you come in and tell me you've got a fortified roof, I'm going to say that's great. Where's your certificate?
Right.
If you've got this proper certificate, it will make a significant difference in your premium. Depends on where you live.
Right.
I mean, if you're in Citronelle, it's not going to give you the same savings as if you live, say, down in Theodore.
Okay.
Or like with me, I've got an old rambling house that I live in on Dog River. And we put a fortified roof on last year. I went through the proper certification process, did everything I was supposed to do, and I lowered my insurance premium by 20+%.
Wow, okay.
So it's the greatest, it's one of the best ways to immediately lower your insurance premiums.
So an insurance industry likes this because you're not going to have to pay out as much if everybody has one of these roofs.
That's right. It's already starting to show. Most insurance companies down here, we're beginning to see, I know State Farm has, and not in every case, there's always an exception.
Right.
But I have seen the past 2 years homeowners rates come down upwards of 20% overall. And if you go back, and a lot of people will say, no, it didn't. Well, if you'll go back and look, you'll see that it did in most cases. And I attribute a lot of that to the adaptation of the safer home, the fortified standards. Like Julie has said, like Graham has said, we've got the best adaptation rate in the nation. I mean, we lead the nation in this, and it's already showing in our insurance rates. And I always tell my customers, Uncle Henry, insurance premiums are just the canary in the coal mine. If premiums are going up, something's wrong. It's an indication that something's not going well. If they're coming down, just the reverse. Things are going better.
It's because your experts, your actuaries are determining there's a risk somewhere.
That's it.
And that's why the rates are, because you figure there's a risk, and you're lowering the risk when you fortify your roof.
Right, exactly.
Right. So if we're out there telling you a way to, and remember this, I work on straight commission. The less you pay, the less I make. I'm telling you to do this because it's worthwhile. So I'm telling you a way to pay me less. So it's got to be good advice.
This is really a shock type of admission from an insurance agent. Let's, Julie, please explain a little more in depth what is the process of being designated, because you have to have the certificate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just go up there and fortify it myself.
No,
I've got to
you
have
can't.
it. Talk me.
You could if you were handy,
Right.
you could.
But let's say I've got a re-roof. How do I start so that I can end up with the certificate? What do I do?
Okay, so I would say the first thing you need to do is go to don'tgoof.org. That's the easiest thing right there. Go to don'tgoof.org, which is part of our website, and it will walk you through a very a very, very clear step-by-step. If you're re-roofing, don't goof. Go
Right.
through these steps. So you need an evaluator. It's called a Fortified Evaluator, and you can find a list of them on our website. You can also find a list of them on fortified.org. So these individuals have gone through pretty extensive training, and they've also been evaluated to make sure that they're qualified to be tested to be an evaluator, and then they have to give a small book of proof that they are who you want, making sure that this process goes well. And they will work with your contractor. And we always say, please get 3 bids. It just makes sense.
Let me interrupt. So somebody's going to come out and they're going to check out my roof before.
Yep.
They're going to make sure that it's possible.
Right.
And then there are certain contractors that you tell me can do this work.
So anybody, okay, so let's start with the evaluator's going to come out and they're going to give you a current conditions report on your house. And they're going to probably tell you stuff you didn't know about your house. And they're going to give you a checklist of this is what it takes for you to get to this level of fortified, and this is what it takes to get to the next level of fortified, because there's multiple levels. But let's just talk about the roof. That's the bronze level, so it's the entry level. Everybody's got to get it if they're going to go forward. And they're going to give you a checklist of this is what you have to have done to your roof to make this designation happen. And that can become your bid sheet. So that's what you take to get those 3 bids. You can use anybody, because if anybody can follow a technical bulletin, so you could do it if you know how to read technical
Right.
bulletins. But we do have a list of contractors and roofers that have gone through the Fortified WISE training, which means that they really understand it and know it because they've gone through an extensive class and they've been tested on it. So they've put the effort in. So we always say they know it, go to that list. And then they will come out and give you a bid on what's going to cost for them to do your roof. And then the evaluator and the contractor should communicate. And that's on you as the homeowner to make sure that they communicate, so you connect them. And then they'll work through the process of getting your roof done. And the significance of the evaluator is we sort of look at them as Switzerland in a way, because they don't work for code inspectors, they don't work for contractors, they stand alone. And what they do is they document on an intense level of taking photographs and getting forms and compliance forms signed to make sure that exactly what is supposed to be happening to your roof is happening, which all of that is collected at the very end by the evaluator and shipped off to IBHS's headquarters in Tampa. And there's a team of engineers that reviews that and says, yes, this house has been fortified to this level. And they are the ones that produce and give that official designated certificate that has your official number on it. And that certificate stays with the house. So if you sell this house, you have an increased value to your property according to the University of Alabama, and you can pass that on to the new homeowner.
An increased value in property.
Yes. So the University of Alabama, and in particular the Alabama Center for Insurance Information and Research, which is housed in the Culver House, did a analysis with the University of Mississippi and Auburn University. They teamed up together to see what exactly was Fortified doing for the market, right? What was it doing for the value of the house? And it showed that a house that gets designated with Fortified increases in value at about 7%. So not only are you going to reap the benefits of getting that money back that you put in, that extra money you put into re-roofing with your insurance savings, but you're also, if you resell, going to have a 7% increase on the value of your house. And that changes a little bit depending on how closer you get to the water, the increase in value goes up because that risk reduction is there.
So
I might add the other value that comes there is most homes have a 5% deductible for covered hurricane losses. If let's say you have a $100,000 home, that means you've got a $5,000 deductible.
right.
Uncle Henry, do you have $5,000 in the bank?
Well, I don't want to have to write a check for it.
That's right. Nobody does. And you think about that, that's a per occurrence deductible. So if you have 2 separate hurricanes 90 days apart, there's $5,000 there, there's $5,000 there. If you've got a Fortified for Safer Living roof on your home, and let's say instead of having $10,000 worth of damage every time where you're paying out $5,000, you might only have $1,000 or $2,000. So there's no way to fully measure it, but if you look at the videos like I've looked at, fortified roof to non-fortified roof, it's almost frightening.
Well, let
the
me
difference.
Let me ask you this before we go into break here for weather and news. You mentioned that there's an insurance discount depending on where you live for having the fortified roof. How many years do I get that? Do I get a discount for several years or just 1 year?
No, you that as long as you keep your house certified, and there is, as Julie has said, there's a process. After 5 years, you have to have a reinspection done.
Okay.
Far less involved than the first one, far less. Then you get recertified, and that continues on.
So as long as it's in good repair, the discount remains in effect.
Right. That's right. It's forever and ever, amen, as long as you cross the T's and dot the I's.
Okay. Fantastic. And and when I sell the house, they get to have the benefit of that.
That is correct.
Of it because the insurance, because that certificate stays with that property.
That's right.
Okay, we're going to take a break, weather and news, and then more with Smart Home America. Again, you can watch us. The video will continue after the break at the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. You can also go to smarthomeamerica.org at any time and find out more. smarthomeamerica.org. Back with more in a moment.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Lots of potential market-moving events coming up this week, including a meeting of the Federal Reserve. Plus, we have an avalanche of earnings, including McDonald's, Caterpillar, General Motors, Ford, and Exxon. Stocks are slightly lower to kick off the week. The IMF sees the U.S. fading as the engine for the global economy. The fund left its forecast for growth unchanged, saying the world economy will expand 3.5% this year. According to the IMF, the world will rely less than expected on the U.S. and the U.K. and more on China, Japan, the Eurozone, and Canada. Health information company WebMD agreed to sell itself to buyout firm KKR in a deal valued at about $2.8 billion. And staying with deals, Campari agreed to sell its Irish brands to Kentucky's Heaven Hill Distilleries in a $165 million deal. That includes Carolyn's Cream Liqueur and Irish Mist Whiskey. Campari has been streamlining its portfolio in an effort to reduce debt after its acquisition of Grand Marnier. Heaven Hill's brands include Deep Eddy Vodka and Christian Brothers Brandy. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tomorrow morning at 5. Syria. Uncle Henry. Check. Has his checklist. Judge Neil Gorsuch. News, weather, traffic. Boom. Entertainment. Boom. Check. News Radio 710. WNTM. Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Happy Monday, everybody. Well, we are going to have to dodge some lightning and some heavy thunderstorms across the area. We've got about a 60% chance of wet weather today. Make sure the windshield wipers are working and that you've got the rain gear close. 89 degrees will be the high today. Lows tonight in the 70s. We're back in the 90s on Tuesday with a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Always Money.
Always Money.
Need cash for back to school? Visit Always Money for a cash advance up to $500 or ask about their auto installment loans for more money and more time to repay. Visit alwaysmoney.com to get started. Loans subject to approval.
Please listen to an important clinical research opportunity. Are you 50 years or older and have been hospitalized recently or plan to be soon? Doctors are looking for volunteers for a research study evaluating an investigational vaccine designed to protect against Clostridium difficile, or C. diff, bacteria that can cause frequent diarrhea, abdominal pain, and inflammation of the colon, which, when severe, can be life-threatening. Patients with increased exposure to healthcare facilities and those who have taken antibiotics are at a higher risk of getting sick. If you have had multiple visits to the emergency room, frequent visits to the doctor, or hospitalizations of at least 2 nights in the last year, you may qualify. To learn more about this study and to see if you qualify, visit clovertrial.com or call 1-877-296-9458. That's www.clovertrial.com or 1-877-296-9458.
I don't like compromise, which means I don't want adjusting my underwear every other set until it becomes part of my routine. Solution? Frigo by RevolutionWear.com. Underwear reimagined. I stay cool, dry, and focused on my next rep, not tugging and grabbing and putting things back in place. Frigo by RevolutionWear.com is as high-tech as you can get with underwear. No pinching, no pulling, no restricting. Buy Frigo online now at RevolutionWear.com. The revolution starts below.
Celebrate your independence with a safe from Mike Ward's Liberty Safes. Come by the Mobile store for instant savings up to $1,000 off on select Liberty models in stock with 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Right now, also receive a free accessory up to $50 with every Liberty Safe purchase. It's service after the sale at Mike Ward's Liberty Safes with free delivery up to 50 miles. Why go anywhere else? Just look for the giant Liberty Safe at exit 5B, I-65 and Moffett in Mobile. Call 471-1137.
Hey guys, let's talk performance. Are you tired of all the sex pills and products that just don't work? Are you frustrated with high costs and side effects of prescriptions? Wouldn't it be nice to know that when that intimate moment is happening, that you are confident to satisfy your partner every time? You need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement pill that will change your life once and for all. Noxitril is like having results on demand with powerful ingredients that go to work right away. We make it in certified, top-quality FDA labs, and the results are off the charts. Best of all, right now we are celebrating over 10 million pills sold and want all men to take advantage of our free bottle offer. With guaranteed results, you have nothing to lose.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-992-9130. That's 800-992-9130. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-992-9130. 800-992-9130.
For more information about contests on this station, go to newsradio710.com/rules.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. President Trump's son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner attending a closed-door meeting with the Senate Intelligence Committee regarding his contacts with Russian officials. In a statement,
Kushner also shared his recollections of the June 2016 meeting with a Russian lawyer, saying it was a waste of time and that he actually emailed a staffer to call him so he could politely excuse himself.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. President Trump, meantime, taking to Twitter again this morning, pushing the Senate on another repeal and replace bill aimed at Obamacare.
No one seems to know yet if this bill is simply a repeal bill or if it's also a repeal and replace bill. In fact, the earliest that Senate Republicans could vote would be Tuesday. The exact language that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell used was sometime early this week.
Fox's Kristen Fisher in Washington. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Welcome back to Ask the Expert. We're talking with Smart Home America. You can find out more at smarthomeamerica.org. Julie Shire Woodard and Graham Green are here from Smart Home America, and they brought Kim McElhaney from State Farm. And we've been talking about insurance savings. One of the things you do at smarthomeamerica.org is you also want to help people learn how to buy insurance. Is that right?
And to shop. Most everybody gets an insurance policy when they sign their mortgage. Got to have that insurance to qualify for a mortgage. And then they don't think about it ever again. And because of all of the positive things that have been going on in Alabama with us building stronger and building better, our insurance rates are very competitive now. And so you can get a better insurance rate, but you have to shop it.
Well, see, I think a lot of people do think about it, but they may be like me in that I don't understand when I'm getting a good deal or not.
Right.
When it comes to insurance. Now, Ken McElhaney, just briefly, the name for so long in Mobile associated with insurance. Talk about briefly your history in the insurance industry.
Well, my grandfather, A.E. Person, started with State Farm in January of 1947 in the Staples Pake building. I'm real excited about seeing that get restored because my grandfather was in the second floor corner office, so I'm real excited with that. My dad, Ken McElhaney Sr., started in 58 down on St. Michael Street, and I've been with State Farm nearly 27 years now myself, and I'm on Government Street downtown.
All right, now, the smarthomeamerica.org, they've got a coastal insurance shopper's guide, and I know that you've looked at it. What do you, as an insurance pro, what do you think about their guide?
It's terrific. Uncle Henry, as we were talking about during the break, number one, it says, are you paying too much? And what's the first thing everybody thinks about when it comes to insurance? Hey, I got my homeowners cheaper than you did.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's all fine and good. Do you have the right coverage? Because if you get a great buy and you don't have important coverage, You know, in even deductibles, some people say, well, I've got a 5% hurricane deductible. Well, do you have a deductible for specified hurricanes, or do you have a wind and hail deductible? Wind and hail deductible's a lot more broad. In other words, just an old summer hailstorm, you can end up with a hail deductible, whereas most insurance companies use a named storm deductible. And even then, you've got to read the definition. But the important things, you know, let's say you've got two insurance quotes. One's $1,500 a year and one's $1,200 a year. Well, the $1,200 a year may be the better overall value. It may really be. The $1,500, you may think, well, I'll go with it because I think I'm getting more. Well, do you have coverage for additional living expense? A very important coverage that a lot of people miss, huge thing, is building ordinance and law. Let's say, Uncle Henry, you live in a house built in 1959, the year I was born.
Okay.
Old house. Okay. The building codes are different today than they were in 59. If you say, well, my house was built in 1999, the building codes are different today than they were then.
So what difference does that make with my insurance?
Well, let's say you have a fire, and the building inspector comes in and says, well, Mr. Henry,
yes,
you can build your house back, but you've got to do this, that, and the other to bring it up to current code because of this loss. Your insurance policy may say, insurance adjuster may say, well, we don't pay for that. Okay. What do you mean? The worst question in the world is, what do you mean that's not covered?
Right.
That's why I'm gray-haired. I don't like that question.
Okay, so I need to make sure that my coverage is going to bring me up to current code.
That's right. Call your insurance agent and ask them, you're paying us to advise you on your insurance. Go in, better yet, go in, make an appointment, and sit down face-to-face and go over things. I have found the people that are willing to take the time, and it's not about selling you more insurance. It's about going over your coverage. The people who will take the time to do that have far fewer problems than the ones that just assume. Most dangerous word in the world.
Now, smarthomeamerica.org, they've got the top 10 questions to ask about your homeowner's insurance. Do you agree? We don't have to go over all of them.
I agree with everyone. Another big one is, do you have backup of sewers and drains coverage? It doesn't happen often, but you haven't lived till you've seen a sewer backup in your house.
Yes.
The engineers call it the system purged. That's a nice sounding thing. The system purged. It doesn't look nice, and it sure doesn't smell nice.
Okay, and that would be a horrible.
And that's an optional coverage.
What do you mean I'm not covered? That would be a horrible question.
That is it's about $35 a year with thereabouts, $25 to $50 a year with most companies, and it's optional. It's optional with our company. I pretty much recommend all my customers get it. Now, if you're on a septic tank, you don't necessarily need it, but most of us are on sewers.
All right, now let me ask you about this, because one of the top 10 questions to ask about your homeowner's insurance from Smart Home America is, do I have, or did you quote, a flood policy? What is my flood zone? Now, not all of us live along Dog River or along the beach. I live 3 minutes from here, so should I even think about?
Yes, you should. And if we ever get a Category 5 storm surge in Mobile, and remember this, you can have a Category 3 storm like Katrina. Katrina, from a wind standpoint, was a Category 3 storm. It was a Category 5 storm surge event. You have to consider those things. And if we ever get a true Category 5 storm surge in Mobile County, you will see flooding right here, very likely at 555 Broadcast Drive.
So so people need to consider flood coverage even though they're not on the water.
That is correct. And Uncle Henry, I tell everybody, you live in a flood zone. It doesn't matter whether it's a designated flood zone. It doesn't matter if it's the 100-year flood zone or the 500-year. Everybody lives in a flood zone, as I've often made the statement. Genesis chapter 6. 40 days, 40 nights, Noah, the ark, the whole 9 yards. Everywhere has flooded at least once.
Right. Now people are hearing this from an insurance pro. Julie, you're all in on this?
Oh, yeah. So 20% of flood claims So that's where somebody filed a claim or had to have financial assistance after, is in a non-special hazard flood area. So those are the people outside of 100.
20%.
20% of the flood claims are outside of a special flood hazard designated area. So they're outside the 500-year flood. They're outside the 100. They're like, I'm not in a flood zone in Midtown,
Right.
but I
Exactly.
could be, right, but I could flood. And if everybody will just pause for a second and go back to the April storms that we had in 2014, we had places flood that had, quote unquote, never flooded before in Mobile City, ever. And they flooded. Well, those people didn't have flood insurance. And some of them are still trying to recover from that. Because if you don't have flood insurance, you are not getting a check from anybody outside of the federal government. And when they give it to you, it's not enough to rebuild. I mean, the max that you can get in most cases is $30,000. If you've lost a $200,000 home, $30,000 isn't getting you very far in recovering. And so flood insurance in a non-flood zone is quite affordable. If you can fit that into your budget, it makes total sense.
Well, how do we know if we're in a flood zone?
Well, a lot of it is you just have to contact your insurance agent. There are flood zone determination services out there. We'll check it. It will tell us which flood zone you are or are not in. If you're in a serious flood zone, there's some homework that has to be done. You may have to get an elevation certificate. There's a number of hoops you may have to jump through. But going back to this I call it area of least flood hazard. If you're not in a 100-year flood zone, if you're in a lesser flood zone, if you're in a $150,000 house, you can get flood insurance for about $1 a day. Now, you're going to spend more on that on Coca-Colas. So $1, I mean,
Right.
yeah, you'll spend $10 a day on Starbucks.
Right. A lot more.
But Smart Home America, is there an official, you encourage people to do this? Smart Home America?
I do encourage people to do this because, so we have a saying, because our name is Smart Home America. And when we say smart home, most people think intuitive or wired or, it has something to do with the Internet of Things. And what we say is that a smart home survives the high wind and the rain so that all those smart things that you buy inside your house are still there and working when you get back. And you also don't have a foot to 2 foot of water in your house in any kind of flood event. Again, you can put all this dollar figure stuff in your house with the refrigerator that makes a grocery list for you and, the thermostat that knows your movements. But what good are all those smart things if you are not covered with proper insurance, or you flood and you weren't covered, or your roof leaks tremendously because the water came in a big renovate? So a smart home is a home you can afford to live in because it's energy safe. You're saving energy, which we do a little bit of that on our website. And also it just withstands the wind and rain a whole lot better.
And it's affordable with its insurance as well.
Okay, we need to take a break. We'll come back with our final segment here with Smart Home America. Again, lots of info, including info on how to properly cover yourself to buy insurance. You can find that at smarthomeamerica.org. Back in a moment.
Hi, this is Amy Keith with FlipCheapHouses.com. Our company specializes in teaching beginners how to invest in real estate with little to no financial risk. Are you determined to succeed and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to work one-on-one with a professional real estate investor for 12 months? Are you motivated and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to start a business now? With our help, in as little as 2 weeks, you can start putting deals together, flipping cheap houses. Are you ambitious and have at least $10,000 for startup fees and want to get a side business started for additional income? If you can give us 10 hours a week, we can show you how to flip cheap houses. If you are a beginner and want to learn how to flip cheap houses, then help me help you. Go to our website at help2017.com and watch our free webinar. That's HELP2017.com to watch our free webinar. HELP2017.com.
I'm Uncle Henry, a customer of Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. I've used them for maintenance and for when my old system went out on me. Last year, I asked them to turn to the experts, Carrier, and replace my old natural gas furnace with a Carrier 95% high-efficiency unit. And so I had a cozy, warm home last winter with lower heating bills, and I'm looking forward to a cool home this summer with that new system. Carrier, high-efficiency natural gas, and Heads Heating and Air Conditioning make a great team. Did you know they've got financing available at 0% interest for up to 60 months? You can't beat 0% on a new system. What a great combo. Carrier, natural gas, Heads Heating and Air Conditioning, and financing at 0% interest for up to 60 months. So turn to the experts, Carrier, and call Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. The number is 251-653-7873. 251-653-7873. See if you qualify for that great deal on 0% interest.
It's Heating and Air Conditioning, where 3 heads are better than 1.
If you know the value of good machines, then it's high time we got together. We're Bailey Industrial, builders of metal and woodworking equipment, hard-working machines for hard-working people. We stand behind our equipment and make sure our equipment stands behind you, offering you the after-sale support you need to keep your shop running smoothly, which means making sure you have what you need when you need it, typically shipping within 72 hours or less. So whether you're a fabricator or manufacturer of metal or wood products, go to Bailey.com or call 920-MACHINE and we'll send you a catalog. That's right, friend, over 400 pages of what you love most, machines. So whatever you're looking to build or manufacture, do it with Bailey Industrial, the company you can trust to give you the equipment and service you can rely on. That's B-A-I-L-E-I-G-H, Bailey, because if it's worth doing right, it's only right to do it with Bailey. So call 920-MACHINE or go to Bailey.com now and pick up your free catalog.
We're back here with smarthomeamerica.org. More info at smarthomeamerica.org on all of the things we're talking about. And Ken McElhaney is also here from State Farm. In the last segment, we talked about flood insurance, and Julie, you explained why Smart Home America encourages people to have the right coverage. And I was curious about, how do I know if I'm in a flood zone? Are there a lot of different entities that make those determinations? Cities, counties, states, federal government?
Uncle Henry, there are a lot of ways. One of the things people talk about, do I need flood insurance? Well, are you in a flood zone or are you not?
Right.
Okay. The flood maps that we utilize to determine the rates and exactly where you are provided by the federal government. But in addition to that, the city of Mobile has a storm surge map, which is not a flood map. It's a different thing. It's how bad of a surge do we expect? And you may not be in a flood zone per se, but in a surge, you may see inundation. So the city of Mobile puts it out. Mobile County puts out storm surge maps. Baldwin County puts out storm surge maps. So
that's a worst case scenario. You can see this is where the water would go if we had that type of surge.
Right. The city of Mobile County's got a really cool map. In a Category 5 storm surge, we're seeing possibly 75,000 plus people being affected. That's what is that, about 1/5 of the entire population of Mobile County or less, or
right
thereabouts. And even in a Category 1 storm surge, you're talking 10,000 people being affected. So the information's out there. You just got to go look for it and find it.
Okay, so
and people can learn more about floods and flood insurance on our website, smarthomeamerica.org, under the insurance section. And if they want to just quickly find out their flood risk zone, floodsmart.gov is a great website.
Okay. And you mentioned the website, smarthomeamerica.org. You've got information there on fortified homes, information about insurance. You mentioned briefly that energy efficiency is another part of what you do.
It is. And we're going to try and do a little bit more. We've been focused very, very intensely on fortified and improving building codes and getting people to understand that they have to shop their insurance. And so sort of that next step for us is, if you're going to re-roof and you're going to be doing stuff in your attic, then that's also a more economical time to get some energy savings in there. And we're trying to slowly build out that energy tab on the website. And what we hope is that as we move forward, we can pull in the stuff that has the data behind it, has the science that shows that it works, and then where does it tie when you're fortifying? So not only are you gaining some affordability in your home with saving on your insurance, but you'll gain some affordability in your home with saving energy. And I live in Midtown in a historical home. So this is also very self-serving for me because I would really like to lower my utility bills, and so I'm very excited about researching this.
Well, for homeowners, it's a great resource to find a way to save so significantly on your homeowner's insurance,
Right.
and then also save on a power bill.
Right. It would be, I mean, if you can afford to live in your home and your home can withstand events, I mean, that's really that peace of mind that everybody should have. And so being able to give you the very easy to understand ways of getting there. And that goes back to if you have to re-roof, or if anybody you know has to re-roof, go to don'tgoof.org. It's in our website, so you can go to smarthomeamerica.org, but you can also just type in don'tgoof.org, and it'll get you to the Don't Goof site, and that'll walk you through how to re-roof. And it'll also give you some resources if you're trying to figure out ways to pay for re-roofing.
Right. Well, and so at that website, don'tgoof.org,
Yep.
that's where people can find a link to info on that grant program.
Correct. So the Strengthen Alabama Homes Grant Program is managed out of the Department of Insurance for the state of Alabama, and it is a no-match grant that you can apply for. Anybody in Mobile and Baldwin County, doesn't matter who you are or what your income level is, can apply. You can get there through don'tgoof.org. You go click on it, and you can fill out the application, and you'll be on a very, very, very long waiting list, but you'll be on the list, so you'll be in the queue, and you got to go through a good amount of steps, but you'll be eligible to get up to $10,000 towards your roof, and you have to get a fortified roof.
Well, I don't even know that we needed to mention it. So many people mention it to me. I mean, people, and I guess that's a great indicator that what you're doing is working.
It is, and the partnership we have with the state of Alabama Insurance Department is fantastic, and they are doing a fantastic job. The grant program is the first of its kind in the United States. So I'm saying that to everybody that's listening and going, oh my God, I need to apply for this grant. So it went live September 2016. We are going to get to that 1 year mark, but it has been literally morphing and changing about every 3 to 4 months because there's no other program anywhere for us to say, oh, we'll just take that and replicate it. So it's been being built and improved, and so it keeps getting better and it keeps getting more efficient, but it's a long wait. So if you're going to do it, you have to have patience. Don't do it if you have a crisis or a leak that's causing damage now. You do it if it's time to re-roof or you're not in the middle of an emergency.
Okay, well, we've got about a minute left in the show, and I know you're going to be coming back and doing a few more shows with us in the next few months. You're going to bring in some other people like Ken McElhaney.
So we're going to bring in, hopefully, our partners from Huber Engineered Wood with the Zip system will come in because it's a product that can help you get to fortified. And also BAS Chemical is one of our partners. We're hoping to get them in. And we're going to work to hopefully get Malarkey Roofing products. And we're going to maybe team up with some of those. So we're hoping to get some more of our product company people in. But they all are very, very far away from here. So we'll see who can make it down this far.
And I guess just continued educational efforts.
Yes. That's
right.
All right. Well, education available at smarthomeamerica.org. smarthomeamerica.org. And Ken McElhaney, thank you for sharing your expertise on this topic.
Thank you for having me, Uncle Henry. I appreciate it.
I've never had an insurance person come in and tell me that he was going to get less money, but he still encouraged people to do it.
Well, first time for everything.
I guess so. Thank you all for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
smarthomeamerica.org.